Big philosophical questions are not my thing, but 2 weeks ago I took the family for a drive and we ended up at the Falls of Falloch, just north of Loch Lomond. It's a beautiful spot. I had never been, and there, nestled among the trees, is a big philosophical question. It's a viewing platform. It's definitely a building, but is it architecture? Now, if you haven't seen the channel before, I usually make content about practical things that affect homeowners. My comfort zone is talking about the reality of altering, renovating, extending and building homes in the UK. This little structure encouraged me to go outside my comfort zone. Is it architecture, or is it just a building, and what has any of that got to do with football and Formula 1? Stay tuned to find out. The viewing platform. This is called Woven Sound, and it was designed by artist John Kennedy in 2014. It's made from what appears to be mild steel rebar. This is more commonly used to reinforce concrete, and it rusts when exposed to the elements. I think that choice is deliberate because both the weaving pattern and the rust coloration allow the structure to blend into the woodland. From just 20 meters away, it's hard to see the platform through the trees. The platform doesn't reveal the view immediately. You don't see the waterfall from the entrance. You have to walk along the platform and turn a corner. You take a journey, and that's another deliberate choice. At the end of the passage, there is a sheet of what looks like Corten steel with a written passage cut into the metal, and at the side, couples have begun adding padlocks with their names. I think these features, some made by the designer, others by visitors, have architectural elements, but before going further, we should ask, what is architecture? It might come as a surprise, but there is no universally agreed upon definition that allows us to decide if a building qualifies as architecture. This is still debated. Some have said that a cathedral is architecture and a bike shed is not. Now, that might sound obvious, but I think it creates a few problems. It's easy to understand the divide between a large, complex building like a cathedral and a small, simple structure like a bike shed, but what happens when you compare two similar structures? Who gets to decide if one house is architecture and another house is just a building? This never sat easy with me because it is fundamentally elitist. And it's not just stereotypical out-of-touch academics who do this. We are all guilty of it. We live in a world where advertising has convinced us that some things are designed while other things are sort of just made. We have come to see design and, by extension, architecture as binary. It's either on or off, like a light switch, and I think that is a mistake. I think it's more like a dimmer switch. I think all buildings have architectural qualities, but some have more than others. There's levels to it. Do you need an architect to create architecture? The idea that some structures are just buildings and others are architecture puts a small elite on a pedestal as creators and relegates everyone else to consumers. This way of seeing things says that most people cannot make architecture. They can only passively accept what is given to them. If enough regular people buy into this idea, they believe architecture isn't for them, it's only for the elite. The problem is, in the past, beautiful buildings, great and small, were made by people who were probably illiterate, and today, buildings are widely criticized despite being created by formally trained designers who spent years at university. It's not that architects today aren't capable, the problem is that, over time, a division has grown between architects and the rest of society. Regular people feel they have no role in the process. This is a huge problem for everyone. It's a trap for architects and a tragedy for society. Architects who buy into this idea burn themselves out trying to be the lone artiste, creating a masterpiece. But the idea also fails wider society, who believe they can outsource buildings and just leave it to the genius. It's like leaving politics to the politicians. It won't end well. Special interests group will lobby the government and regular voters' concerns will be overlooked. As an architect myself, I work best with clients who have an opinion and bring ideas to the table. I think that to create better architecture, we can't rely solely on trained professionals. Just like democracy needs an informed electorate, the built environment needs a proactive public. How to understand architecture today? Let me give you an analogy to help explain this. Millions of people all over the world enjoy watching and playing football, and that is what architecture used to be like. Whether it's the World Cup or kids kicking a ball around the local park, they are both playing football and nobody would argue otherwise. No one would say only the professionals are playing football and the kids are doing some other category of thing. Football is on a spectrum. The kids might not be as good as the professionals, but it's still football. And we all understand that professionals started out as kids playing football in the park. Architecture used to be like this. Regular people knew where materials came from, how to build with them, and what skills were needed to make a building. Design and construction were seen as a continuous process, not two distinct activities. Creating a building was a team effort. This way of seeing things created architecture on a spectrum. The same people who built a cathedral might also build something much smaller using the same methods and materials. It wouldn't be as grand, but it was still architecture. Somewhere along the way, architecture changed from being like football to being more like Formula One. Millions of people enjoy it, but only a tiny few get to take part. It is too complex and expensive for the average person to participate. Formula One is not on a spectrum. It's more like a cliff. If you drive down a road in your family car, nobody will pretend it's Formula One. It's a completely different category of thing. The challenge of going from a family car to Formula One is a massive jump. This is where I fear we have gotten to with architecture. Over the past 200 years, buildings have become increasingly complex, materials are more numerous, and the methods are more technically sophisticated. At the same time, architects went to university, and much of what we do is now expressed in obscure academic terminology. Both of these facts make it incredibly difficult for the average person to see architecture as accessible. I fear the general public has begun to see regular buildings as separate from architecture and the difference between them like a sheer cliff rather than a gradual slope. Why does architecture matter? I believe that viewing regular buildings as separate from architecture leads to a lowering of expectations, which then causes a lowering of standards. We get poorer places, spaces, materials, and workmanship. Right now, we have a world where the general public is not encouraged to think about architecture, and architects are expected to get it right first time, every time, and I don't think either group is happy with this arrangement. I want a world where the average person expects higher standards for buildings they use. I want a world where regular people feel comfortable discussing space, materials, meaning, elements of style, and any other architectural concept you care to mention. I want a world where the average person understands how buildings are produced and who they should pressure to make sure it's done in everyone's interests. It should not be the case that a few people live in homes that have architecture and the rest of us live in homes that were built but not designed. It takes society and architects working together to create better buildings. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I think it starts by understanding that architecture is on a spectrum. If we start by creating the expectation, then people will believe they can have architecture in their lives, and they will feel empowered to ask for it. Rather than having to cross a massive threshold between building and architecture, looking at buildings on a spectrum is optimistic and inclusive. It treats every building with respect and allows everyone dignity. It means that any building can be improved, even in small steps over time. It's much easier to deal with small improvements rather than trying to meet a massive list of conceptual hurdles all at once. It's much easier to walk up a long slope than it is to climb a massive cliff, but I don't think this way of seeing things will change from the top down. It has to be done from the grassroots. We absolutely do need trained, qualified and experienced architects to bring buildings to life, but we also need wider society pressuring politicians, developers, planners and builders to ensure good design is the norm and not the exception. I don't think a lack of money is the problem. It's how the money is spent that's the issue. It is possible to make great buildings from humble materials, but it's really easy to make crap buildings from expensive materials. Just look at the viewing platform. They could have installed a mass-produced park bench, but instead they chose to build something special from ordinary steel bars. Then people decided to make it memorable by adding padlocks. This shows a desire to create something permanent, to have a role in making the building. Now, you might see this as vandalism, but I think it points to a deep human need for connection. It's also a direct challenge to the idea that architects can control how their buildings will be used. I've redesigned so many older properties in my career that I fully expect someone will redesign my projects in the future. I've also learned to incorporate ideas from clients and contractors into my projects, and I think they are better for that. I believe design and construction are a team sport rather than a solo pursuit, and if we can remove ego from architecture, it creates better buildings. I don't know if the disconnect between architecture and wider society has been caused by late-stage capitalism, rampant individualism, neoliberalism, or the increasing complexity of construction, and frankly, I don't care. As I said at the start, I don't do big philosophical questions. I deal with practical issues, and these are my observations on the state of things. I am just sick of seeing poor designs, missed opportunities, and low expectations. I don't want to dumb down, I want to raise up. My regular videos deal with the reality of altering, extending, renovating and building homes in the UK, and you can check them out in this playlist. You are welcome to disagree with my views on architecture. Please tell me all about it in the comments. I don't pretend to have all the answers, so if you have ideas about how to raise awareness in architecture across society, let's talk about it. And if you want advice about your home, no matter where it is in the UK, you can arrange a consultation with me on the reallifearchitecture.co.uk website. Please read the terms and conditions before you book.